Hey everybody, Brett from AstartesGaming here, back with another Mount Blade 2 Bannerlord developer blog video. Today we're checking out the developer blog for November 9th, 2017, and we have another faction spotlight video. This time they are going into depth about the lore of the Khuzait Khanate, which is sort of implied to be the precursor to that other Khanate from Warband. So let's dive in and learn more about these guys. Alright, so greetings, warriors of Calradia. A century ago, the eastward expansion of the Empire met the great sea of grass in the center of the continent. Beyond that, with no farmland where the legions could forage, they could conquer no more. They fortified their most recent acquisitions, the great trading cities on the steppes' edge, confident that the disorganized horse tribes beyond the frontier pose no major threat. Khuzaits, Nachagan, Arkits, Kurgit or Kurgits, Kara Kurgits, and wait, I got lost there. Imperial officials barely even bothered to learn the names of the various clans and peoples. Well, yeah, they're hard to pronounce, except when it was necessary to turn one chief against another with a bribe, or remove a rising Khan with a vial of poison. The steppe tribes were well aware how the Empire toyed with them, but they were jealous of each other, and an imperial title, a princess bride, or a chest of gold could give them a slight edge in the endless struggle for prestige and precedence. They raided, traded, took protection money to escort caravans across the steppe, and left the game of conquest to the settled peoples. 2 generations ago, however, something happened far away to the east, a change in the winds perhaps, or some terrible but distant conqueror, and the horse clans were set in motion. New tribes pushed westward, seeking fresh pastures. Unwilling to be crushed in the middle, the clans nearest the Empire formed a confederacy under Urkun the Khuzait. They caught the Empire in a moment of overconfidence. A force of legions was annihilated. The trading cities capitulated, and Urkun's confederacy was now a Khanate. And here we have a screenshot of some horse archers running around and causing mayhem. So the horse lords now ruled over towns and farmers and counted tariffs and cropland. Urkun imposed discipline on the unruly clans, forcing them to ride to war on his command instead of simply when they wished. But with the coming of statehood and its burdens, the spirit of unity was lost. Urkun died, and though his descendants still ruled the Khuzait Khanate, the other clans feel that they should be the ones to raise the 9-horsetail banner that symbolizes the supreme authority. The Khuzait Khanate draws its inspiration from the steppe people of Central Asia. Genghis Khan's alliance is probably the best known example, thanks largely to the remarkable document, The Secret History of the Mongols, which chronicled the Khan's rise from lone fugitive to ruler of one of the greatest empires the world has ever seen. The Khuzaits are based partially on the Mongols, but also on their more modest cousins, the Avars, the Gokturks, Kipchaks, and Khazars, who were more regional powers than global ones. And now here we have a screenshot of some more Khuzait stuff. This time, of course, we're looking at like a market setting, so more of like their communal life. We also get to see what their sort of people look like, what their dress style is. Their architecture is kind of interesting because it looks adobe, not what I would have expected from steppe peoples. I think historically they used a lot of like, I'm not, an expert on steppe architecture, but I've seen pictures and it looks like brick, whether it be like mud brick or something. Definitely not adobe. Adobe you generally find in more arid climates like deserts, so I think like the Aserai would make sense to have architecture like this, but not necessarily a group of steppe peoples, but whatever. It still looks cool. So the nomads turned kings swiftly took on many of the cultural aspects of the peoples they conquered, so that the various Mongol or Turkic dynasties dressed, feasted, worshipped, and administered their lands like the Chinese or Persian rulers who came before them. But it's clear that they still fondly remembered their heritage out on the great grasslands. Travelers to the Uyghur capital of Ordu Balik, wrote that the Khan built a great yurt, if that is how you pronounce that, on top of his palace, apparently feeling most at ease in the felt tents of his ancestors, even as he also enjoyed the protection of walls. We try to make the Khuzait settlements reflect this cultural mixing, and for those holdouts who would never submit to a Kagan, no matter what security or riches he offers, we have a minor faction, the Karakurgits, who keep the old ways. Okay, so that's, again, another mention of minor factions. We saw the same thing with the Battanians before, where they have sort of like a Fianna type setup, a la the, you know, feudal Irish. But here we have sort of like a religious sub-faction, it seems like. Well, not just religious, but cultural as well. But they, I guess the main faction would probably worship the same gods too. They don't really go into much depth about that. But they keep to the older, you know, traditions of being nomads, living in tents rather than, you know, cities and things like that. So the Khuzait's military strength is their horse archers, who combine firepower with mobility. Computer games traditionally have a hard time striking the right balance for mounted bowmen. Sometimes they could stay out of reach until the enemy broke, such as when the Parthians wiped out Crassus's legions at Carrhae. But they could also be brought to battle and broken, such as when Attila the Hun was defeated by Aetius at the Catalonian fields. There are many reasons why even the swiftest horse archers couldn't just dance away from close combat forever. The endurance of the horses and the supply of arrows, the need to protect baggage and ensure a water source. So usually the horse army's greatest victories, like Kalka River or Manzikert, end with a final climactic melee. With this in mind, Bannerlord is working to make control of the battlefield more important, so that skirmishing is usually a prelude to a clash, and horse archer armies are exciting both to command and to fight. Thank God, because fighting against the Kurgits in Warband is probably one of my least favorite things to do, just because they don't fight. They run in circles and harass you, and that can be very frustrating, especially since in Warband there's no real command of the battlefield. As long as you have people alive, you are still like partially in command of the battlefield, and so you can basically just you know, kite people around forever, even if you're the AI. So this is a nice thing to hear about, because I think it could the game could definitely benefit from introducing, you know, reasons for a horse archer army to have to engage in melee. Such as, like they mentioned, you know, going after their baggage train or something if they're going to abandon it just to try to, you know, run in circles around you. Or, I don't know how they would implement something like water sources, but that's something that we know is very important to armies. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys get better balanced. Because, you know, in Warband, the Kurgits, if you were fighting them in an open field battle, they were very dangerous, but they usually got wiped out fairly easily because they cannot hold up in a siege. And so, yeah, I'm really hoping that the Khuzaits are better balanced in that regard, so that they're actually like a viable faction and not just kind of like a one-trick pony, no pun intended. So anyways, I think that's the end of our, that's the end of our blog post for this week. So we got to learn a little bit more about one of our new factions. I'd like to hear more about the Volandians as well. They're the like Swadian precursor. I guess technically also the Rhodox precursor, since they haven't split up yet. But yeah, that's just me. Let me know what you guys would like to hear more about in the comments below. Hopefully we get to see more actual game mechanics too. I do prefer this to the Q&A stuff though. I mean, frankly, I don't really care what people are doing on their day-to-day job stuff at Tale Worlds. I'd rather, you know, learn more about the lore or learn more about the actual game. So more of this or more game mechanic stuff, I'm happy. But let me know what you guys think. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I had a great time talking some Bannerlord with you, and I look forward to seeing you guys back here for the next video.